switching gears, Andrew Feldstein is here. He is the managing partner with Feldstein Family Law Group P.C. or PC. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, and a timely topic. Well, it's always timely. I feel like divorce has really moved to the forefront when it comes to family and situations that are happening. When a divorce happens, how do we leave the children out to ensure that it's an amicable divorce where the children don't get pulled to either side?
Well, I always say to people, there's issues of money and there's issues of your children. Money can come and go, and that's where some people will have their fight. But what you really need to focus on when it comes to your children is what's in their best interest. And the comment I think of is love your children more than you hate your former spouse. And keep that in mind when you're trying to negotiate your schedule and trying to co-parent your kids.
Is there an aspect where parents take advantage of the children in terms of using them as a leveraging tool?
It happens all too often where certain parents will tell things to their children to try and get them to be aligned with them. Those can be things as horrific as saying, did you know that your parent was the other parent was cheating on me, and telling them explicit details of the cheating. What they don't realize is that causes tremendous damage to their children that may have life-affecting changes.
How do you approach something when it's a shared custody, but one of the parents are, let's say, living in Richmond Hill and moving to Ottawa? How do we adjust to that?
Those, in my opinion, are some of the most difficult and challenging cases. We call them mobility, and unfortunately there's a case in the Supreme Court of Canada dealing with mobility cases that doesn't really give us much help. And at the end of the day, I usually say to my clients, it really is going to depend on the values of a judge. And the problem of trying to negotiate a resolution with mobility is simple. If I'm trying to negotiate support, as an example, and one person says they want $2,000 and the other one says I'll pay $1,000 a month, you can reach a compromise.
Yeah.
$1,500 seems to jump off the page at you. How do you compromise when one side says, I want to move to Ottawa, now you're never going to see your children in the middle of the week, now weekend access is going to be difficult. It leads the party that's not moving to say, I'm going to fight you on that, and I'm going to fight you to the end on it.
I guess the question that comes to mind is, how do you know you have the right divorce attorney? How do you know that the person is working out of your best interest, but also out of the interest of the children as well?
Well, first issue is you really don't. It's like when you go see a doctor, when you go see any expert, you're relying on their knowledge. I say to people, you need to go with your gut feeling. Is really important. I think you need to research the person, read what's on their website, and most importantly, is it a lawyer that is just repeating for you and telling you what you want to hear?
Right.
And what I mean by that is I have clients who come in and say, well, I went to another lawyer and they said I won't have to pay any spousal support. And I look at them and I say, then you should go hire that lawyer because the likelihood of that happening is zero. And I could tell you the same thing. You can pay me a lot of money. I'll go to court. I will lose. You'll pay for me and you'll pay for your spouse's lawyer.
It pulls back to the segment we just did in terms of communication and being direct. You want to know that the person is working for you, but also honest. The number one issue parents deal with in terms of the separation and the children, is there one overwhelming issue that always seems to arise again and again and again?
Well, I think there are really two things that most people are scared about when they separate. And I found it interesting because I separated from my wife about 1.5 years ago now, and I do this every day, and I felt the exact same feelings, even though I had better knowledge than most people at being able to get to the numbers, which is, am I going to be able to financially afford a decent lifestyle? Can I have a decent home to live in? And how often and how much am I going to see my kids? Those are really the two central questions that people feel, and everything else flows from that. And there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty and insecurity in that period of time because you don't know where you're going to live and how often you're going to see your kids. Yeah,
we're going to have you on in future segments because I think it's an important topic. This is quick, you have 30 seconds, but the dichotomy, switching roles, how hard was that for you?
It felt like being a duck out of water, now being the client and sitting in on meetings and seeing people that you know all your personal information.
Which is why you hire someone like yourself, reputable, and make sure they're working on their best interests. Andrew, thank you. We will have you on again soon, okay, sir?
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. More Daytime York Region after the break, guys. Don't go anywhere.